take back, sit around, relax, and I pass it to our general evaluator, the founder of one of the co-founders of Toastmasters Club, and the man who brought me to Toastmasters, current Division D Director, Advanced Communicator Bronze, Advanced Leader Bronze, Ricky Su.
Thank you very much for the big hat. No, I just finished eating. I'm not digested yet. Okay, this session, for your information, is called the evaluation session, where I, as the general evaluator, will lead a group of evaluators to give feedback, positive and constructive, so that they can do better and better. Now, this session, this Toastmasters platform, for your information, is a peer evaluation, peer learning platform where we can learn from one another. So members give feedback to one another. And evaluation is just a matter of perspective. That means sometimes their evaluation might not be entirely correct. So it's up to the speakers to decide to accept or to reject their opinions. So if you find it useful, you just take it. And for everyone to practice evaluation, we have a special segment later on. It's called the open evaluation for 5 minutes. This is one good character of this club, these two clubs. So in the open evaluation, everyone and anyone can also give your evaluation to any speakers just now. So if you feel like Ricky could have done a better job by doing 1, 2, 3, then Samuel, you just raise your hand. I want to speak about Ricky. He could have done about 1, 2, and 3, and he will be a better general evaluator. So everyone is free to give your feedback. So now, just now we have 5 table topic speakers, and we want to know how well they have done. And we have the table topics evaluator, who is not other than a pathway guide as well, competent communicator, advanced leader bronze, Vincent Hoy. Let's put our hands together.
Thank you, Division Director Ricky. Now for our first speaker for the table topics today, Toastmaster Alice. Fear is not alone. It took you a little while to think about what to say, but I like that you use yourself as to talk about the topic of fear, about how you were scared here, but not to be scared because you have 4 more people who will be following you up on stage. So there is no reason to be fearful. And I also like you actually try to use this opportunity on stage to encourage other people to come on to the table topic role. And I really commend you because the effect of that is that everyone from this row actually came up. Now my recommendation for you is that in the end of your speech, I realized that you were a little bit lost of direction. You were talking about things but not really talking about anything. So it would be really nice if you have a clear and concise direction or conclusion that you want to come up with. Now moving on to our second speaker, Tenkai, Spartan. Now what I like about you as a speaker is that you are very calm, confident, you have a strong voice, and you are very well dressed. That itself is really a good impression to all of us, and we all can capture what you want to say. Now my recommendation to you perhaps you could make use of the stage better. Because I realized that throughout your entire time speaking, you were only standing in the center of the stage. Perhaps when you want to transition from one point to another, you can move to one part of the stage, and then you can tell us a story before you move back to the center. Alright? Now moving on to our third speaker, Samir, Courageous. Now let me share with you an advice that my Indian lecturer taught me. Say, boys, there is a fine line between courage and stupidity. Be very careful about what you act, for you might be called a hero or a dumbass. Yes, so the topic that you get reminds me of this quote, and the way that you talk also reminds me of him. And I also like how you can relate your own experiences. While standing on the stage, you have to take out the courage to be able to speak to other people. And that is a good way of talking about the topic. Using your own experiences, it helps a lot. Moving on to our fourth speaker, Ali. Speech title, Fear. Now I like how you take that title literally. When the table topic master says, Ali, fear, fear, Ali. And you're like, fear Ali. that is really, really good. You know? Sometimes there are opportunities like this, and I like how you capitalize on it, whether intentionally or unintentionally, but still it was a good one. And you made everyone laugh. So that has already broken the ice. Now I also like that, you see, that's the power of humor. Sometimes you make jokes that you don't think is a joke, but everyone thinks it's funny. And that's good. Now what I realized is that throughout when you were speaking, I realized that you put your left hand behind like this. Alright? That is one of the many signs of nervousness. My recommendation is that perhaps if you're not holding anything, put both hands on the side. It gives you more confidence, more authority when you speak. Timer, how much are you timing me? What is my time right now?
2:50.
Okay, thank you. Now, moving on to our final speaker for today, Tony, freedom fighter. Now, what I like about your speech is that you're actually sharing your personal stories about your family, about how when you are back home, yes, your mom hugs you, squeeze the hell out of you, but over time you feel naggy, that's why you come over here and some sense of freedom. And I also like how you are very confident, calm, and I think that you are actually pretty good at storytelling. Perhaps one recommendation for me is that perhaps you could add something called characterization, whereby you give traits and characteristics of the people in your speech. For example, when you talk about your mother, besides giving a hug and being a little bit naggy, what is she like? And what are the interactions between you and her that make you feel that you want to go out? So perhaps a little bit more on that and your story will be more comprehensive. Otherwise, I thought all of the speakers here today did a very good job. I totally enjoyed the table topic session, and with that I'll add my evaluation back to you.
Thank you very much. Vincent is a very experienced evaluator. Just now I talked about Toastmasters being a peer learning platform where we give feedback to one another. At the same time, when evaluator give feedback to the speakers, he or she himself or herself is also doing a speech. And it is definitely not easy to give feedback to 5 speakers within 5 minutes. So Vincent has done a good job. Let's give him a